Glory to God the Father and Son Yeshua Mashiach. 1 Chronicles chapter 27. The 12 chief fathers of Israel. The people of Israel, registered according to their clan leaders, were drafted for army duty under captains of thousands and of hundreds, and officers serving the king, in divisions of 24,000 each, for month-long terms of duty covering all the months of the year. Over the first division, for the first month, was Yashub-Am the son of Zavdiel. There were 24,000 in his division. He was from the descendants of Pharetz and was in charge of all the army captains during the first month. Over the division for the second month was Thodai the Akhoki. Mikloth was the chief officer of his division. There were 24,000 in his division. The third army commander, for the third month, was Benaiah the son of Jehoiada the chief Cohen. There were 24,000 in his division. This is the same Benaiah who was one of the 30 heroes and was over the 30. His son Ammizavad was in his division. The fourth commander, for the fourth month, was Asael the brother of Joab, with Zevadiah his son after him. There were 24,000 in his division. The fifth commander, for the fifth month, was Shamhuth from Yizrak. There were 24,000 in his division. The sixth commander, for the sixth month, was Ira the son of Achash from Tekoa. There were 24,000 in his division. The seventh commander, for the seventh month, was Helitz the Peloni, from the descendants of Ephraim. There were 24,000 in his division. The eighth commander, for the eighth month, was Sibbecai the Hushathi, from the Zaki. There were 24,000 in his division. The ninth commander, for the ninth month, was Aviezer from Anathoth, from the Ben-Yemini. There were 24,000 in his division. The 10th commander, for the 10th month, was Maarai, the Netophathi, from the Zaki. There were 24,000 in his division. The 11th commander, for the 11th month, was Benaiah from Pirathon, from the descendants of Ephraim. There were 24,000 in his division. The 12th commander, for the 12th month, was Heldai the Netophathi, from Othniel. There were 24,000 in his division. The rulers of the 12 tribes. Over the tribes of Yisrael, leader of the Reuveni, Eleazar the son of Zikri; of the Shimoni, Shephatiah the son of Maacah; of Levi, Hashaviah the son of Kemuel; of Aharon, Zadok; of Yehudah, Elihu, one of David's brothers; of Yisazkar, Omri the son of Mikael; of Zebulun, Yishmayahu the son of Obadiah; of Naphtali, Yeremoth the son of Azriel; of the descendants of Ephraim, Hoshea the son of Azazyahu; of the half-tribe of Menashe, Yoel the son of Pedaiah; of the half-tribe of Menashe, in Gilad, Yiddo the son of Zechariah; of Benjamin, Yaasiel the son of Avner; of Dan, Azael the son of Yeracham. These were the commanders of the tribes of Yisrael. But David did not include in the registration those 20 years old or less, because Adonai had said he would increase Yisrael's numbers like the stars in the sky. Joab the son of Zeruiah began a census of these, but he did not finish, and wrath came upon Yisrael because of this. Moreover, the number was not entered into the annals of King David. The royal offices of David. In charge of the king's supplies was Asmaveth the son of Adiel. In charge of the supplies in the countryside, the cities, the villages and the fortresses was Jonathan the son of Uzziyahu. In charge of farmers working the land was Ezri the son of Keluv. In charge of the vineyards was Shimei the Ramathi, while Zavdi the Shifmi was responsible for the produce from the vineyards for the wine cellars. In charge of the olive and sycamore fig trees in the Shephelah was Baal Hanan from Gedera, while Joash was put over the storehouses for olive oil. In charge of the herds of livestock feeding in the Sharon was Shirtai from the Sharon, while Shaphat the son of Adlai was put over herds in the valleys. Oviel the Ishmaeli was put over the camels, Yekdiyahu the Meronothi over the donkeys, and Yaziz the Hagri over the flocks of sheep and goats. All of these were responsible for King David's property. The counselors of David. Jonathan, David's uncle, was an advisor, a man of understanding and a secretary. Yechiel the son of Hakmoni took care of the king's sons. Achitophel was an advisor to the king. Hushai the Archi was the king's confidant. And after Achitophel were Jehoiada the son of Benaiah and Abiathar. Joab was commander of the king's army. First Chronicles chapter 28. David's charge to Israel. David assembled in Jerusalem all the leaders of Israel, the leaders of the tribes, the commanders of the divisions serving the king, the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and the supervisors over the property and livestock of the king, along with his sons, the officials, the warrior heroes, and anyone else who was a leader. Then David the king rose to his feet and said, "My kinsmen and my people, listen to me. I set my heart on building a house where the ark for the covenant of Adonai could remain at rest. It would have been God's footstool, and I prepared to build it. But God said to me, 'You are not to build a house for my name, because you are a man of war, you have shed blood.' However, Adonai the God of Israel chose me out of my father's whole family to be king over Israel forever, for he chose Yehudah to be the leader, and in the house of Yehudah, in the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, it was his pleasure to make me king over all Israel. And of all my sons, for Adonai has given me many sons, he has chosen Shelomo my son to sit on the throne of the kingdom of Adonai over Israel. Moreover, he said to me, 'Shelomo your son will build my house and courtyards, for I have chosen him to be a son to me, and I will be a father to him. I will establish his kingdom forever, if he uses his strength to obey my mitzvot and abide by my rulings, as he is doing currently.' Now therefore, in the sight of all Israel, the community of Adonai, and in the hearing of our God, observe and seek out all the mitzvot of Adonai your God, so that you may continue to possess this good land and leave it as an inheritance to your descendants after you forever." David's charge to Solomon. "As for you, Shelomo my son, know the God of your father. Serve him wholeheartedly and with desire in your being, for Adonai searches all hearts and understands all the inclinations of people's thoughts. If you seek him, he will let himself be found by you, but if you abandon him, he will reject you forever. See now that Adonai has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary, so be strong and do it." Pattern for the temple. Then David gave Shelomo his son the designs for the hall of the temple, its buildings, its supply areas, its upper rooms, its inside rooms, and the place for the ark cover. Also the designs for everything he had been given by the Spirit, for the courtyards of the house of Adonai, for all the rooms surrounding it, for the storehouses in the house of God, for the storehouses for the holy articles. and for the areas set aside for the Kohanim and the Levim, arrangements for the work involved in the service of the house of Adonai and for all the articles needed for the service of the house of Adonai. Lists of the weights of gold needed for the gold items to be used for various purposes, and the weights of silver needed for the silver items to be used for various purposes. The weight of the gold needed for the gold menorahs, the weight needed for each menorah and for its lamps, and for the menorahs of silver, the weight of silver needed for each menorah and for its lamps, according to the way each menorah was to be used. Also the gold by weight for the tables for the showbread, for each table, and silver for the tables made of silver. The gold for the pure gold forks, basins and jars, and for the gold bowls by weight for each bowl, also for the silver bowls by weight for each bowl. And for the incense altar, refined gold by weight, and gold for the design of the chariot and the cherubim with their wings spread out to cover the ark for the covenant of Adonai. All this is in writing, as Adonai, with his hand on me, has given me good sense in working out these detailed plans. Then David said to Shelomo his son, "Be strong, be bold, and do it. Don't be afraid or become discouraged, for Adonai, God, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or abandon you until all the work for the service in the house of Adonai has been finished." See, there are the divisions of the Kohanim and Levim for all the service in the house of God. For every kind of work, you will have with you every man who is willing and skilled, for every kind of service. Also the captains and all the people will be completely at your disposal. First Chronicles chapter 29. The offerings of David for the house of God. To the whole community, David the king said, "Shelomo my son is the only one God has chosen. But he is still young and inexperienced, whereas the work to be done is great. Because the palace is not for anyone human, but for Adonai, God. Now I have used all my strength to prepare for the house of my God the gold needed for the articles of gold, the silver for the articles of silver, the bronze for the articles of bronze, the iron for the articles of iron, the wood for the articles of wood, onyx stones, gemstones to be set, brilliant stones of various colors, all kinds of precious stones, as well as marble in abundance. In addition, because my desire is set on the house of my God, since I have my own supply of gold and silver, I herewith give it to the house of my God, over and above everything I have prepared for the holy house. 99 tons of gold from the gold of Ophir and 231 tons of refined silver to be used for overlaying the walls of the houses. The gold is for whatever is to be made of gold, and the silver is for whatever is to be made of silver, and they may be used for anything to be made by craftsmen. Therefore, who offers willingly to consecrate himself today to Adonai. The offerings of Israel for the house of God. Then the clan leaders, the leaders of the tribes of Israel, the captains of thousands and of hundreds, along with the supervisors over the king's work offered willingly. They gave for the service of the house of God 165 tons of gold, 330 tons of silver, 594 tons of bronze and 3,300 tons of iron. Those who had precious stones gave them to the storehouse of the house of Adonai, supervised by Yechiel the Geshuni. The people were filled with joy, because they had given willingly, wholeheartedly they had given willingly to Adonai, and David the king too was completely filled with joy. David's final prayer of thanksgiving. As he blessed Adonai before the entire community, Blessed be you, Adonai, the God of Israel our Father, forever and ever. Yours, Adonai, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory and the majesty, for everything in heaven and on earth is yours. The kingdom is yours, Adonai, and you are exalted as head over all. Riches and honor come from you, you rule everything, in your hand is power and strength, you have the capacity to make great and to give strength to all. Therefore, our God, we thank you and praise your glorious name. But who am I, and what is my people, that we should be able to give so willingly in this way? For all things come from you, so that we have given you what is already yours. For in your presence we are temporary residents, just passing through, as all our ancestors were. Our days on earth are like a shadow, without hope. Adonai our God, all these supplies that we have prepared in order to build you a house for your holy name come from your own hand, all of it is already yours. I know also, my God, that you test the heart and take pleasure in integrity. As for myself, I have given all these things willingly, in the integrity of my heart, and now, with joy, I have seen your people who are present here give willingly to you. Adonai, God of Abraham, Yitzchak and Yisrael our ancestors, guard forever the inclinations of the thoughts in the hearts of your people, direct their hearts to you. And give to Shelomo my son wholeheartedness to obey your mitzvot, instructions and rules, to do all these things, and to build the palace for which I have made provision. Solomon sits on the throne. Then David said to all the community, Now bless Adonai your God. All the community blessed Adonai, the God of their ancestors, bowing their heads and prostrating themselves before Adonai and before the king. On the following day they presented sacrifices to Adonai and offered burnt offerings to Adonai, 1,000 bulls, 1,000 rams and 1,000 lambs, with their drink offerings, and sacrifices in abundance for all Israel. They ate and drank before Adonai that day with great joy. Then, for the second time, they made Shelomo the son of David king, anointing him before Adonai to be king, and Zadok to be Cohen. Shelomo sat on the throne of Adonai as king in place of David his father and prospered, and all Israel obeyed him. All the leaders, the warrior heroes and likewise the sons of King David submitted themselves to Shelomo the king. Adonai gave Shelomo exceedingly great power, in full view of all Israel, and bestowed on him royal majesty such as had not been seen on any king before him in Israel. King David dies. Now David the son of Yishai ruled over all Israel. The duration of his reign over Israel was 40 years. He reigned 7 years in Hebron, and he reigned 33 years in Jerusalem. Then he died, at a ripe old age, full of years, riches and honor, and Shelomo his son reigned in his place. The activities of David the king, from first to last, are written in the records of Shemuel the seer, Nathan the prophet and Gad the seer. With all his reign and his power, and the events that he, Israel and the kingdoms of other countries experienced.